So I owned a vacation home like 2.5 hours north of me for about a year, and my plan was to offset the mortgage with Airbnbs. And it didn't really end up being as profitable as I expected. It was my first one and I didn't really buy right. So I was in a position where I had a lot of equity in the property and I wasn't really making any money or even covering the mortgage throughout the course of the year. So I owned the property for exactly a year, maybe like a day over, and I had started kind of looking for a way out like 9 months into owning it. I tried to sell on my own first for sale by owner, and I was just inundated with offers and inquiries from people who I knew really weren't serious buyers. And it was at that time I realized why you pay a realtor. And when I did decide to ultimately list with a realtor, I realized that I really couldn't get the amount of money that I wanted to for the property. I was getting offers somewhere around $50,000 less than what I expected, or what I hoped for, rather. I know when you own the property and it's yours, you always kind of perceive the value to be higher, but I really didn't want to let it go for less than what I felt like it was worth. And someone from Unlocked Home Project had reached out to me when I first listed it for sale by owner. And I wasn't really ready to take an unconventional route with the sale yet, but I told them to reach back out to me in a month. And if it was still listed, then I would consider it. And whoever it was who had called me again, I feel like we really built rapport. That was the first person I had talked to who reached out to me when I listed myself, who really sounded like they knew what they were talking about and like they would be pleasant to work with. Because a lot of the people who reached out didn't seem like they'd be pleasant to work with. And I'm really busy with my main job, so I didn't really have time to deal with tire kickers. So throughout the transaction, I had a couple Zoom calls with the owner, John, and that's really where we banged out the details and the logistics of selling this way. And he really made sure that I was super clear on everything and that no questions went unanswered. We figured out how I could get the price that I wanted for the property, which was a price that I was not going to get if I sold traditionally. So I ended up selling for the price that I wanted, not the price that all the realtors thought I could get for it. So I was really happy about that. And John really weighed my different priorities with the sale too, knowing that my top priority was how much I made off the sale in total. We kind of worked the terms around that. We were able to close relatively quickly too. I wanted to delay it a little bit so that I had ownership for a full year, but we were able to close fast, and I never had to go to the property again, and I didn't have to pay any closing costs. So those were important to me because the property was far away. So I never had to go up there again. I didn't have to make an extra drive. I didn't have to clean anything out of the property. I truly just got to leave it as it was and sign on the sale long distance. So I sold to Unlocked almost 2 years ago, a little over a year and a half ago. And there are two payments. There's one payment that comes to me directly from Unlocked every month towards my equity in the property. And they also make my mortgage payment. So my mortgage payment stayed in place in my name. And in this time that they've owned the property, neither of those payments have ever been missed or been made late. So it's been a really, really easy process, honestly. I check in every so often to just confirm that the mortgage payment was made on time, but it always has been. I have gone through the borrowing process since selling this way. I've gone through bank underwriting, and all I had to do was get proof from Unlocked Home Project that they are responsible for my mortgage and that they've been paying it, not me. And that was more than enough for the credit union that I was borrowing from for a new property. Yeah, so the bank did disregard it for me. They just wanted a letter of explanation, which my mortgage broker guided me through how that should be set up. And they just wanted proof from Unlocked that they were making the mortgage payment and not me, which was as simple as getting bank statements and mortgage statements from Unlocked, which was super easy. I actually had to ask for those really late at night on like a Saturday night, and they were able to get them to me within, I think, 12 hours or something. I think that anyone who's thinking about selling a property should look into what their creative options are, because you never know until you really explore all your options. You might not think that you're someone who would benefit from selling creatively, but there are dozens of reasons that this might be a better path for you than selling traditionally on market. Working with them's been great. They're a great team, and it's always nice to work with a family-owned company too, and a company that's really small, and everyone in the company has a hand in making sure that it's a successful transaction for you. It was really nice.